Fans are talking about something incredible happening behind the scenes all the time. Although there have been murmurs for days, they are suddenly making headlines. Does the industry really have a ban on Kirk Frost? Yes, you heard right. Nothing makes sense, from a hip-hop and love icon to complete silence. It all started with a few strange speculations. Producers turning away, industry insiders calling him radioactive, and rumors that meetings are being canceled the moment his name is brought up. The timeline's most shocking revelation came right when fans thought things couldn't get any worse. Kirk has allegedly been blacklisted. No more screen time, no new contracts, and almost no chance of rehabilitation. But how quickly did things spiral out of control? What was really driving this brutal takeover? Was it disagreements, arguments, or something darker and more personal? Despite the silence of insiders, the facts are starting to emerge, and they are startling. If you found Kirk's last scandal ridiculous, you haven't seen anything yet. Keep an eye on this story because it's going to blow up. At first, no one accepted it. In the bizarre world of reality TV, fans brushed off reports that Kirk Frost was having issues once more as just another myth. This time, though, things were different. There was an air of strangeness that made even his most devoted supporters pause. On social media, he remained unusually quiet. At these events, he usually takes the stage, but he wasn't at any of them. The real gut punch came when Kirk was left out of the love and hip-hop promotional materials for the upcoming season. No clue, not a single cameo, not a thing. Initially, everyone believed he was on vacation. However, insiders in the industry started to leak information, little bits of which added up to a huge catastrophe. According to a producer who asked not to be identified, he's been disconnected. Apparently, nobody wants to be associated with him anymore. Not even the people who had first supported him. It was then that the terror began. For someone like Kirk, whose success on reality TV has been the foundation of his entire career, disappearing was the worst possible PR. There was no scandal. It was disconcerting. And that was what, to him and Rashida, made it even more terrible. It was believed that behind closed doors, things were getting ugly. Rashida, usually the calm one in their public persona, was reportedly breaking down in private. Those close to her claim that she was unprepared for the sudden fallout. He's filming confessionals one day, and then they're locking him out of the building. According to a staff source, it happened quickly. The weather was cold, and it was final, the turning point. And furious altercation that had never, at least not yet, been broadcast. According to a number of sources, on one of the last days of production, Kirk and a senior producer got into a heated confrontation. There was nothing manufactured or lighthearted about this. It was real. Then everything turned ugly. Witnesses said that Kirk exclaimed, "I made this damn show what it is." As he rushed off the stage, "That's no way to delete me." Those must have been his last words on that set. After that, it felt like you were seeing a series of occurrences. Within days, Kirk had all of his promotional engagements canceled. Nobody picked up the phone. After being mysteriously postponed, meetings with the network vanished entirely. Even Rashida, who wanted to appear as if nothing was wrong in public, began to put off obligations. Supporters felt like something was breaking. A rush of online speculation followed. Fans started looking through recent clips to find hints, a smirk here, a glance there, anything that seemed to indicate what had gone wrong. Theoretical speculation was rampant. The show attempted to distance itself from Kirk's complicated legal situation, according to some. Others believed that there had been a scandal that was so big that Rashida was unable to spin it. But which one is attracting the most amount of support? That Kirk had been banned from the show and the entire business. At this point, the situation gets even more tangled. An unnamed source from another well-known reality TV show claims that Kirk was in talks to join a new project, something unrelated to VH1, but that deal was abruptly canceled. "We were all set," the person said. Paperwork was almost complete when we got a call from a higher authority warning us not to touch Kirk Frost because he was so poison. Poison is the precise phrase. The industry does not indiscriminately ban people, but when it does, it is terrible. It was like being in exile, and to make matters worse, Kirk seemed unprepared and caught off guard. One of Kirk's close friends, who asked not to be named, said that he was utterly devastated and felt betrayed by people he's known for years. The emotional toll was tremendous, and for days he reportedly stopped going outdoors, spoke infrequently, and attempted to make sense of things. "What was it I did that was so awful?" he asked frequently. The friend said, although some argue that Kirk's refusal to take responsibility is the exact problem, he honestly didn't expect it. He believes he is untouchable, a former co-star said, because his numerous questionable acts over the years make for fascinating television. People tend to ignore them. However, when the drama started to cost the network money and prestige, they swiftly cut him off. Rashida is the most destructive element. Sources claim that she is caught between supporting her marriage and protecting her reputation. One insider claims that she has been told to keep her distance. However, how do you respond when it's your spouse, the father of your kids? At this time, your entire image over the previous 10 years started to come to a head. A private meal turned into a full-fledged incident when Kirk allegedly showed up without an invitation to a meeting Rashida was having with business associates. He barged in and demanded to know why she was pursuing projects without him, a witness stated. He responded, "Like them, you're abandoning me." The noise was loud. "It's embarrassing." She seemed to want to disappear. The video hasn't been made public yet, but insiders say that someone was filming during the meal, and it will soon surface. And admirers, they watch everything you do, and it may be the final nail in the coffin when it occurs. Posts such as, "Will Kirk Frost's career end?" On social media, they're everywhere. And, "Did he truly lose all his privileges?" He had it coming for years. The industry finally woke up. And good riddance are written by more vile people, but the problem is both private and public. According to accounts, even family members have started to isolate themselves. One cousin reportedly told Kirk to lay low and stop making it worse. Another insider claims that Kirk's oldest daughter hasn't called him back in days. Once referred to as the glue of the family, the father now feels cut off. But Kirk is still certain that he can make it back. There was a friend who said he was working on something behind the scenes. He is still working on his return in one way or another. Is it too late, though? The question that keeps cropping up in people's minds is whether Kirk Frost can bounce back from this level of failure. After all, he has been the target of so much drama, betrayal, and mayhem. When it seemed that things couldn't get much worse, the real shock arrived. Or is this the story of a man who was burned after becoming too near to fame? The contents of a supposedly leaked private email from a VH1 executive, a formal notice of blacklisting, began to circulate in underground business circles. It said, in cold, calculating words, "Termination and industry advisory, Kirk Frost." Because of ongoing behavioral disruptions, legal liabilities, and internal conflicts, Kirk was to be permanently removed from all current and future VH1-affiliated productions, and the network would not support or promote any external project involving him. The worst part? It was not a quiet farewell. It was a deliberate shutdown of Kirk's entire entertainment career, and the news was unexpected. It was copied on by a number of production companies, streaming services, talent managers, and even podcast networks. Projects that Kirk had been trying to revive, like a spin-off on the Frost family or a behind-the-scenes documentary series, were canceled overnight, and small-time YouTubers, podcast hosts, and independent reality producers who had been speaking with him privately suddenly stopped interacting with him. One industry source exposed the truth in a voicemail that went viral online. They're done with him. His name was no longer acceptable. He annoyed the wrong folks far too frequently. You can only burn so many bridges before nothing's left. Kirk, who was upset and caught off guard, reportedly tried to get in touch with the legal department, saying, "They can't blacklist me. He reportedly told his coworkers, "I got contracts. I made them money." But the truth was simple. The cards were no longer in his favor. The power dynamic had shifted, and no one was there to save him. In an Instagram Live comment, Stevie J, who has seen his fair share of business ups and downs, remarked, "Dude, when they shut the door on you like that, it's game over." Rashida was left to clean up the mess in the interim. Previously, Kirk co-managed her businesses, but they started to receive negative feedback on social media, with posts such as, "Why support a brand related to someone so toxic?" Her store was boycotted by fans. And if you need assistance, Rashida, blink twice. In an effort to repair her reputation outside of the Kirk controversy, her public relations team went into overdrive, scheduling events, promoting motivational content, and trying to do it in private. There was chaos. According to a family acquaintance, Rashida confronted Kirk in a private chat that turned sour and emotional. She reportedly sobbed as she cautioned him, "You're not just messing up your life, you're tearing down everything we built. I supported you through everything. Now it's me who's picking up your garbage again." Kirk is said to have responded, "You think they'll keep me out forever?" In denial. To them, I am essential. I'm the show. In reality, however, they were no longer in need of him. The situation took a shocking turn when the filmmakers started filming scenes for the next season. In addition to continuing without Kirk, they were actively altering the path of history. They reportedly removed important scenes that emphasized him from previous seasons, reduced his screen time in recaps, and removed his name from advertising materials. According to one insider, they are even taking him out of the timeline. It was a clear message. Kirk Frost was going to have his record wiped. Then Kirk was betrayed in public by one of his closest allies, which was an unexpected turn of events. It was the Benzino. For years, the two had been close since they had similar experiences in the reality TV industry. But Benzino made a big splash in an unexpectedly leaked podcast episode. "Look," he said, "I got love for Kirk, but he made his bed. He played too many parts. Even with bridges burned, he expected people to keep building boats for him. That's not how it works, man. You lie to people, treat producers with disdain, and treat them like you're beneath them. Karma resurfaces." He even produced a voicemail that Kirk allegedly left during one of his tantrums, slurring and shouting that everyone is fake and that he was the only real one left. The audio was raw, bitter, and ashamed. Fans immediately started reposting it with comments like, "Kirk's downfall sounds desperate," and "This man truly believed he was untouchable." However, the real twist came when his own family started to turn against him. If the industry had turned against him, he was reportedly blocked on social media by his stepdaughter. Sometimes blood don't mean loyalty. One of his nephews stated in an enigmatic Instagram story, "All it implies is DNA." His older sister also deleted all of the photos of them together from her feed after openly endorsing Kirk during an affair scandal. According to close friends, Kirk's close group was diminishing by the hour. Nobody wanted to be seen as endorsing someone who had been shut out of a whole sector. The words liability and family that had been used to describe him have been replaced. But Kirk? He had no intention of compromising. He started to make references to a sit-down interview where he would expose everyone who had lied to him. According to sources, he told a friend, "They want war." They forgot who taught them to play dirty. The paranoia began to emerge at this point, and based on multiple stories, Kirk began to go insane. "I'll tell you everything about this. He's like a man on an island, surrounded by ghosts," one person even said, and he lost faith in people, accusing former co-workers of spying on him and producers of trying to frame him by disseminating fraudulent material. He is unsure of his true identity now. Meanwhile, his followers were divided, with some holding on to hope. One critic said, "This industry throws black males out the minute they stop making money." Others weren't as understanding. He blew every single one of his chances. They used Kirk, despite his flaws, and are now throwing him out. He deserves this fall. Amidst all of this turmoil, Rashida herself made the shocking decision to unfollow Kirk on Instagram. Fans immediately observed, though, that it was done in a subtle way. The internet took off, with popular tweets such as "Even Rashida's done," "It's really over," and "Kirk finally broke the last straw." Her management decided to remain silent. Kirk was horrified, according to the insiders, and he considered it the ultimate betrayal, but she remained silent. "If she also betrays me," he insisted, "I have no one left." Tension escalated when Kirk abruptly appeared to Rashida's boutique and insisted on speaking. Staff tried to eject him, but he pushed in. The confrontation was fierce, witnesses said, and they sobbed and raised their voices. One thing is certain, even though the entire scenario hasn't been made public yet, the pair is no longer together. The idea that he might genuinely lose everything struck Kirk at that moment. The performance, his followers, his household, and the sector. But in the middle of this disaster, there was still one more surprise that would completely upend Kirk's world. And Rashida, too. The reason was that someone close to him, someone no one expected, was going to come forward with a terrible secret that could destroy his last hope of salvation. And that person wasn't a producer or a hate-monger, wasn't a blogger. Rather, the betrayal took place in his own home. It was his eldest son from a previous relationship, Carter's half-brother, whom Kirk usually kept out of the spotlight. What's his name? Malik, who had stayed out of the spotlight for years, led a quiet life while working in Atlanta's underground music scene, while Kirk flaunted his lifestyle on reality TV. Up until now, he had been mute despite having watched from a distance, heard the stories, and seen the headlines. Malik abruptly uploaded the two-part expose video, "The Truth About My Father, Kirk Frost, the Man You Don't Know," on YouTube, which was silent for the first 5 minutes. Pensive, but then it exploded. Malik shook his voice and stared directly at the camera before continuing, "I remained silent for years." He accused Kirk of dominating not only the industry but even his own family, and Malik said that Rashida was one of the pawns Kirk used. But after seeing his actions, the number of people he has hurt, and the lies he has told, I can no longer defend him. He poses as the victim, but only in private. He is cold, calculated. He will say what you need to hear to stay on top. Next came the real shock. Kirk had been using fake invoices and hidden accounts to steal money from a shared family business, according to Malik. He referred to her as Rashida, her name. And when I asked him about it years ago, he added, and he moved thousands behind her back. He threatened to cut me off forever. Supporters were shocked. The video was seen hundreds of thousands of times in a few short hours. Comments were pouring in, with some defending Kirk and others demanding retribution. Is Kirk really violating his own family in that manner? This family drama is more complicated than we first thought. Rashida had better get her money and run. The impact was immediate, and bloggers grabbed it up. There were suspicions that Rashida's legal team had secretly evaluated Frost Bistro and other joint enterprises, and reaction videos started to surface overnight before the legal wave arrived. Serious inconsistencies were apparently confirmed by preliminary results. Kirk went into a rage, but even though no official charges had been made yet, the smoke was enough to prove that there was fire. He angrily said in a since-deleted Instagram story, "Don't believe everything you hear. Is my own son betraying me? You all appreciate it when a black man falls. But the damage was already done. His reputation was ruined in terms of opinions. Young Jock, a longtime buddy, stopped returning his calls, and friends began to disappear." The guy, once considered a pioneer of reality TV, had become a cautionary tale. Although Kirk went completely silent and begged Mona Scott for just one episode to clear his name, sources said that the network had moved on. Kirk emerged just as it seemed he might disappear into obscurity. He also shared a webcast with a controversial YouTube podcaster who has a style of stirring things up. The voice? The message? "I'm not done yet," it said. With his eyes flaming, Kirk whispered, "You think they can keep me quiet? This sector has a short memory. It's hatred today. They will be pleading with me to return tomorrow." He was immediately asked by the interviewer, "What about the blacklist?" Those embezzlement claims? The video that your son made? Kirk didn't flinch. I was hurt. That boy was resentful, and he has no idea what he is about. I built everything, so they're all mine. I didn't steal anything. Fans, however, didn't buy it. The broadcast's comment section was hostile, and these people are angry that they weren't included in the plan. Take ownership of your actions for once. The path here is not one of redemption, but delusion. Your own son is speaking the truth. In addition, something else was happening while Kirk was screaming, and Rashida had ceased speaking, so we trust his credibility. Not much to say, but what about behind the scenes? Others close to her claimed that she had divided up all joint accounts while she was relocating, and her team rearranged asset ownership, updated corporate records, and removed Kirk's name from multiple LLCs. Frost Bistro was now solely operated by her, and the signage was also changed, however subtly. It's not Frost and Rashida anymore, an insider said. Now it's Rashida's house. Rashida also arranged an exclusive interview with a prominent talk show presenter, as if that wasn't enough. One phrase appeared in a teaser clip that was posted to Instagram. I remained mute for too long, but I'm done standing up for people who have never stood up for me. The story was shifting, and the internet went crazy again. Rashida was reclaiming her status as Kirk's loyal wife, who stood by him through all of the scandals. Kirk, on the other hand, was getting worse. He barged into an Atlanta bar, clearly upset and intoxicated, and started screaming about snakes in the grass and family that stabbed me in the back. He got into a furious confrontation with a former Love and Hip Hop cast member, according to witnesses, and security had to remove him out. One bystander remarked, "He's unraveling. I mean, it's clear in his eyes. That man is not doing well." However, the story didn't stop there. There was still one more surprise that would shock fans to their core and possibly ensure Kirk Frost's permanent ban from the business. In a private podcast that was leaked almost immediately, a former Love and Hip Hop producer suddenly came forward after years of silence, revealing what she called the real reason Kirk was banned. However, drama wasn't the only factor at play. Power abuse was the reason. Kirk had a long history of threatening employees, demanding changes to the script, and even attempting to control the narratives of cast members by manipulating production schedules, she stated, adding that he felt in control. But since the ratings were high, we were just putting up with him. We had no reason to continue shielding Rashida after that fell through, and he became the audience favorite. With one terrifying statement, she concluded the podcast. Kirk Frost wasn't banned for what he did. The last nail in the coffin was driven when he was banned, when individuals finally stopped being afraid to speak, and the industry had shifted course. However, what would Kirk do now? What cards did he still have to play? Did he have any chance of repairing what had been destroyed? The reply? News sites, gossip blogs, and celebrity insiders used the headline, "Kirk Frost's Reign of Control Exposed. Industry Finally Speaks Out," to describe the podcast's immediate and severe fallout. Formerly private remarks were suddenly being yelled out on all social media platforms. Kirk Frost was becoming a radioactive substance and a divisive figure, and businesses that had previously worked with him stopped doing business with him altogether. Sponsors removed his name from their decks, publicists refused to collaborate with him, and Rashida didn't reply. She had not spoken since her teaser video, but it was clear what she was doing when she removed all of Kirk's photos from her social media sites. No public statement could have been as loud as that. The captions that had previously praised the journey, the growth, the forgiveness were all deleted, and the comment sections were in flames as soon as followers noticed. Finally, she woke up. Make every effort to keep Rashida secure. She was his backbone, and he broke her. Kirk, nevertheless, was not giving up. Not quite yet. In a desperate Instagram live from what looked to be a rented errand, he made one final attempt to fix the damage, speaking straight to the camera for about 30 minutes while wearing a hoodie and keeping his face down in the shadows. Fans weren't expecting that either. He didn't yell or go on a tirade. "I was trying to succeed in a field that devours individuals," he admitted with tears running down his face. "I made mistakes." He was crying. "I might have stomped on someone's toes, and I might have been too forceful, but my family was the driving force behind all I did." After he hesitated and choked, he whispered, "If you're seeing this, Rashida, I'm sorry." For a moment, everything paused. Was this the redemption tale? Was Kirk finally embracing accountability? Was a revival about to begin? But within minutes, the internet had made up its mind. Both too little and too late. Only because he was caught does he feel regret. This energy was absent as Rashida begged for the truth. Fans didn't think it was true. Rashida too? One statement was added to her account an hour later. "Closure is a decision. I'm the one who cures." Whatever optimism Kirk might have had vanished in an instant. A few days later, the final blow was dealt. VH1 formally announced to the public that Kirk Frost will no longer appear on any of their network's upcoming or ongoing programs. "We have decided to part ways with Mr. Kirk Frost following an internal review and growing concern over recent revelations," the statement stated. "We hope his personal development continues." There was more to it than a simple dismissal. Forever, it was forbidden. Love and hip-hop reunions are over. Not a single cameo. No visitors. He had been working on the platform for over a decade, and suddenly he was unable to access it. The repercussions also extended to the real world. The elites of Atlanta stopped inviting him to industry events. His closest friends even avoided him. According to reports, Mama D, who had previously supported Kirk, stopped returning his calls. The insider claims that she said she's tired of cleaning up his mess. Rashida's turn is now. Rashida began to thrive in the meantime. Her new YouTube series, which emphasizes on empowering women through development and betrayal, received over 1 million views in only 1 week. She also launched her skincare business and did a full cover picture for a prominent Black women's magazine. The first video she ever made? "How I Found Myself After Losing Everything" is the title. In the thumbnail too, one tear. Kirk is nowhere to be seen. The fans embraced her. Brands encouraged her. The story was different. This story no longer involved Kirk. It was because of Rashida's rise. But Kirk never stopped watching. Still in hiding, continuing to hope. Just when everyone believed that all was finished, he made one last post, which was a shocking turn of events. A video that is mysterious. Not a word, only clips. It began while he was standing alone in a deserted studio. He then showed a fast-paced montage that included old photos of him and Rashida, early love and hip-hop footage, press reports about his passing, and the words, "The truth has two sides," shown on a dark screen. "Mine is on its way." Supporters were shocked. Was this a dangerous place? One of those documentaries? A last-ditch effort to regain his name? Much speculation was generated. Others claimed that Kirk wanted to reveal Rashida, the actors, and the producers. Others said he had spent months looking for the right moment to secretly shoot a tell-all series. However, everyone knew deep down. Would anyone listen even if Kirk repeated himself? He had destroyed every bridge, turned allies against one another, deceived friends, family, admirers, and most significantly, himself. The industry may be forgiving, but it never forgets. Previously a mainstay of reality TV drama, Kirk Frost had become its cautionary tale. A man who fought his way out of chaos only to be swallowed up by the storm he created. Thus, it is no longer necessary to ask, will he come back? Do you think he really deserves it? From being one of the most well-known artists in love and hip-hop to being banned by the very genre he helped develop, Kirk Frost's life abruptly takes a scary turn. Nobody expected Rashida to fall in public, but his agony, his friends' rejection, and the network's quiet all played a part. Is this the end, though? That's the actual twist. Or is Kirk's story of what transpired only the beginning? Since Kirk Frost or someone similar says, "My side is coming, let's confront it." There's more to it than a warning. There will undoubtedly be more secrets, controversy, and perhaps even reprisals as a result. Does he have every receipt for the franchise? Would he really be able to alter the narrative and drag others down with him? Or is this a man's final cry after losing everything and failing to accept his fate? What do you think? Do you think Kirk deserves a second chance? Do you believe that the company has actually banned him? Or had this been coming for a while? Please leave your thoughts in the comments box below, as we are monitoring each response. Please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you don't want to miss what happens next in this exciting story. We promise that this story is far from over. We'll be here to break down each of the upcoming bombshell revelations, one by one. In the meantime, be vigilant, remain curious, and remember that nothing in the world of reality TV is ever really concealed.